Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You hear the frog in my voice, the bullfrog sound. Yes. I mean, I'm up, but the voice has not. I mean, I do have a deep voice naturally, but saying at the morning to have the more deep, froggy, rough, mannish sound as I would dub it. But all feminine right here, people. All feminine right here. It's just the voice. And I love it. I love my voice. I love my strong voice. God gives us different types of voices, based on our personalities, based on the mission He wants us to accomplish, based on the different things that He wants us to do. And I was listening to Ioctane because he has been chanting his pain and his hurt and his anger towards the present government's approach to those who are not necessarily vaccinated and the poor people that are suffering and they living a good life in his estimation. And I guess it is reality also. And it came to my mind, he said that, when he spoke about, I mean, I don't share the Rastafarian faith, that I'm a Christian at heart. But he said some good pointers that I like. I tell people, you have a lot of some of these religion, you can listen to the salient points, because I listened to Farrakhan. I mean, I know he's an Islamic follower or an Islam follower. Even the Buddha, religion, Confucius, all of them, they have a lot of good sayings. And Jamaicans have this jargon, that they would say pick sense out of nonsense. And I subscribe to that because it can help. It's like Paul, New Testament Paul in the Holy Bible, when he said, look here, you see, even if them wicked and them preach Christ, listen to the words. You don't have to follow the actions of the individual, but listen to the words and apply it to your life. And Actane said something, knowledge without action is really like you're not knowledgeable at all. So we can just bunch you up with those who are not knowledgeable, with those who are illiterate. I want to pause and say this. I've grown up hearing people saying this. Them get me ignorant, you see. Ignorance means lacking or the lack of knowledge. It means that you do not possess knowledge of a particular item, a particular situation, whatever the situation or whatever the thing is, you do not possess information or knowledge on. Ignorance is not the same as being upset or being angry or being frustrated. We need to stop saying, me ignorant, female, you get me so ignorant. We need to stop it. When we hear people say it, we need to correct them. It is a wrong word to use. All right. I realize that the world is in fear. Yes, it is. If the world is in fear, people would not be running to get the vaccine because they want to live. And what came to my mind is, why do you want to live? That's a question that you really must ask yourself. Because God give you, the Bible says, 70, which is really 70 years, and by reason of strength you may go up and up like my grandmother, who is 102 today. And when I think about her life here on earth, though not a wealthy woman financially, but she was a wealthy woman spiritually, she always praised her God and tried to get others to praise the same Jehovah God so that their lives, their hearts, their minds, their souls, or even their bodies can be better. So I'm here thinking we are fearful of dying. That's the truth. People don't want to admit the truth. They are. The people don't. They wish that they never had to die. They wish they could live forever and ever and ever. Amen. I'm not gonna lie to you. You just want to know, say you have some money, you can pay your bills and all of that. But what really is the motive for you wanting to live? So you run and you take the vaccine because you don't want to die. You don't want the COVID to take away your life. Fighting for your life. And to what end? Genuinely, I'm asking the question, to what end? Is it that, when you live for the next whenever time God allows you, because even when you get the vaccine, you're going to die. If you don't get the vaccine, you're going to die. None of us are we're gonna live beyond the time that we are going to live for. So after you get the vaccine, because you're fighting like crazy to not die before so-called your time, and of note, those who have not taken the vaccine, they too don't want to die, because they don't want to inject something that they're not sure will help them. So, but to what end do you want to live? Is it that you want to live so that you can make the world a better place? Is it that you want to live so that you can help your brother and sister? When I say brother and sister, I don't mean obviously blood brother and blood sister. Your fellow human being who is in need, and you are able and capable of helping them. What purpose it is that you're going to be serving on this earth? Because there must be a reason as to why you want to hold on to this life. It cannot be, oh, I want to go to the parties. I want to travel the world. I want to buy a house, and a nice house, and live in it. I want to drive the biggest car. And then at the end of doing all of that, you end up still being sad. You end up still being depressed. You end up needing counseling, or counsel rather, because they always talk about the INGs in the act of doing it. So you still need counsel. You need a psychiatrist, to probably help you even more if it's a clinical depression, well, what clinical depression you suffer from, and whatever other ills and social ills and mental ills and psychological ills that you may face. But I want to know, what is the purpose of you wanting to live? So my take on it is that, so you live on this earth, and when you just do some introspection, not for me, but for you, and think about all the things that you have done that did not benefit you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about self-love and self-care. Obviously, you have to love yourself. Obviously, you should take care of yourself, and you should love yourself. Let me use the word should. I'm not talking about that. So don't misunderstand that I'm saying you must forget about yourself. But I'm here thinking that over the years, when you go to churches and you hear the preach about sin, all you hear about sin is do not steal, lie, commit adultery, commit fornication. Yes, those are not right in the sight of God. But you know what I thought about? Those are way down into the commandments. And the first commandment, which is, people say sin is sin, not true. Some carry more weight than some. So, for example, if you go and kill somebody, versus committing fornication, you're going to go to prison once you're caught. So some things will carry more weight legally, not only morally, but legally. So we have to be careful how we preach sin is sin. Some carries more weight. You can just do the math on many of these things. Some things carry more weight. When you lie and you defame somebody's character, and you cause others to hate them and probably cost their lives, it will carry more weight than somebody who fornicates or possibly commits adultery. It will carry a little bit more weight. When you have a bad attitude and you treat and you embarrass somebody in public, even if you feel that it is warranted, and it causes, and maybe based on the person's emotional intelligence or the lack thereof, it probably caused them to commit suicide, or it's just that the straw that broke the camel's back because of whatever issues they may have been dealing with, and then you just send them over the bridge. It carries a little bit more weight. So even though, it's all of them are bunched under sin, some things will carry a little bit more weight than other. I'm not saying that you must break any of them, but some things carry more weight than other. And the first commandment says, do not. God is very deliberate in how he ordered them. He's very deliberate. He says, people, God is sensible, I'm intelligent. You hear? And that is why he said he makes us in his likeness and image. And sometimes we need to just relax, ask him for wisdom if we don't understand, as Solomon did. And he said, do not put any other gods above him. Love him with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your might, with all of your mind. And love other human beings the very same way you love yourself, and the very same way you'd want somebody to treat you. So what he's saying is, so if you're on this earth, you're commanded to treat people the very same way you want to be treated. So It therefore means that part of your purpose must be to help others, not just your child. Jesus said, love your enemies, because even the pagans love their own. So loving your child and doing good to them is good, but it's not anything exceptional because you're commanded to do it. It's your responsibility. So sending them to school, paying their school fees, providing house and shelter and clothes for them is really a part of what your responsibility. You see a neighbor down there and they don't have any breakfast. Have you ever thought of bringing breakfast to them once? They don't have any dinner. You realize your neighbor doesn't have on a proper shoe. Because sometimes you're not aware. I tell people I'm not so much aware of my surroundings. I'll be talking to somebody and maybe a murder happens and I don't see it. However, one of the things that God has done, like if I'm talking to my neighbor and I say the attire it doesn't look good. I wonder if all is well. I'm going to ask, is everything okay? Because I realize I'm not afraid to ask questions. That's my personality. I'm bold like that. Very much, very fearless, but not embarrassing. Not to embarrass, not to hurt. It's really out of love. I say your shoes still seem tattered and torn and worn or whatever. Is everything okay? I will notice that, but like people's business. If you understand what I'm saying, I'm not fasting at people business. No. And maybe that's why sometimes people feel comfortable to share with me, though you're going to get the truth from me about things. And I do have a heart for people. And it therefore means that if you want God to allow you to live a long life on this earth, it must be this bargain you're going to have with God where you say, God, I need to empower people. I need to spread your name because you're a good God. I need to make the life of other human beings outside of the ones in my space better as much as I'm able to. So you cannot be saying, God, you want long life for just so that you can gallivant and just enjoy life because you just step on this bliss and this cloud 20 as if life doesn't exist. So God was deliberate when he placed the first commandment in the first as the first point. We have things that we do in threes. Like if you win, you get gold, silver, bronze. So the first three are very important. I'm not saying the others aren't. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But there's a reason. There's a reason why he ordered them the way he did. You're commanded to treat people right. You're commanded. You are commanded. Let me not say you as if I'm not a part of it. We are commanded to love God above everything and above everyone, every single person. It doesn't matter if it's your husband or wife or child or mother or father. It doesn't matter who the individual is. We're commanded to put God first, and then we love our neighbors the very same way we love ourselves. We treat people the very same way we love ourselves and treat ourselves. How have you contributed to somebody else's life? The Bible talks about, I heard also one of the things that my fellow there, acting was talking about the poor. And he was showing a picture of, like he says, the politician's vehicle, one of those nice vehicle, politician's son's vehicle, politician's bank account or house. I don't remember. I'd have to look back on his page. And then he shows the voters on the ground with the bottles around the man. And I said, wow. And I said to myself, my God, this almost seems like a Moses generation has returned, sort of a situation where we're held in bondage, many of us. And don't be fooled, it's not only a man that lives down in the inner city or some garrison area, some so-called poor area that is suffering. You have people who are working that is suffering. You have a lot of people who are working that are suffering. That is why the Bible, read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It says, help the poor and the needy. Help the poor and the needy. There's a reason why God had to bring in need, because there are persons who are in need, not necessarily poor, they're working, but things are tight, things are tough, because different expenses come upon them. And if they come and they cry to you, so I use the word cry loosely, but probably in the back end, but them a work out with me, or them a drive this car, or them lived in this house and ask me for money and the man do. No, it doesn't work like that, people. Sometimes sudden expenses come upon people, unexpected expenses, and they're just not earning enough to satisfy that. And they want help too. So it's not just a man on the ground. And I'm not saying that you must leave out them. That I'm just saying to you that there are those who are working who need help as well. But they're afraid to ask because they can't manage the backlash. They can't manage the judgment and the scandal. And I'm thinking to myself, what then is our purpose here on earth for, really? To just go and gallivant and to just live a big life and just business with your own child and family, immediate family, maybe a little bit of extended family, and nobody else. And then at the end of the day, when you die, you want a reward? People, if you're asking God to extend your life, it therefore means that you're going to take up the mantle and the mission to follow the first commandment, part A and part B, which will allow you to follow the rest of them. It therefore means that you're going to take up that mission in making somebody else's life outside of your family's lives. Oh, not just them, better. It means that you're going to live in your purpose, because you must want to live with a purpose here. It can't just be yourselves for yourselves. I look at many of the people of the past. I'm not talking those who you might say are martyrs, like a Martin Luther King or whatever, and he did a great job. Because you might say you don't want to be a martyr. You may not necessarily be a martyr, but there are many people when you check their lives. You think some of those people you say live to be 100 and this and 100 and that. Check their lives. I guarantee you it's not just the food that they ate. You think it's just living a vegan life? You think it's a food? You have many people who eat like not even they make vegan look like a joke or vegetarians look like a joke. To how them eat healthy, exercise healthy, and die very early. Some sickness take them out. It has happened. It's about your heart. God sees the heart of a man. He sees your mind. He sees your emotions. He sees your soul. And if your soul and your heart and your emotions are that of a selfish nature, chances are I don't think you might be extended that quality life or that long life in a quality sense. You're created here to serve God. You're created here to help people and to live a good life. Yes, because you too, you are important. You too are important. But it has to be a holistic package. It's not just peace. It's just not just part of it. And maybe the least of all. So if you're asking God to extend your life, you must be asking Him with a purpose that you want to carry out His mission, that you want to spread His gospel, make the world hear about Him, and to help those who are poor and needy in whichever way God guides you. One thing I know that the Bible spoke about a lot was generosity. You notice when Jesus came here, He gave a lot. He gave a lot. I can imagine if He had come in a multi-millionaire sort of a thing, probably all that money would have done already. Kind of give everybody. Whether you're poor, you're rich, you're in between. We need to have a discerning spirit. Even in the churches, we need to have a discerning spirit. There are people, sometimes they come to church or they come to work and they don't have any lunch money to buy lunch. There are people who come to church and they don't know how they're going to get home back, and they look good on the outside. They dress to post foot. Them dress good. And they're thinking, I heard a story gave with the lady, she wanted to go to church and she had did $500 and she drove. She wanted where she went get gas from, but she just felt like leading to go. And God moved upon somebody's heart, and the man looked at the lady and said, Lord have mercy, but it can't be right. Based on how he's viewing her outward appearance, stop judging people by the outward appearance. Stop it. And anyway, it's like that conviction will move. And he had to go over and said to her, basically, Miss, I hope you don't take this anyway, but I felt the leading to give you this. And he gave her the money. She said, thank you so much. Tears came to her eyes. She said, that's what I needed. Tears came to her eyes. People, let us live. We can't say we want to live and a run, go take vaccine and run because you want to live, but you don't want to live with the purpose of helping other people, of spreading the name of Jesus. You can't say you want that. That makes no sense, people. How you think you came here on earth? It matters not if you want to be atheistic or you don't believe in a God. Stay there. You're going to believe in him one day. You stay there. Me not they ever try to convince anybody about believing in God. Me just a tell you realities. Me tell you facts. Only a fool said there is no God. And if you have survived this long, thank him. Because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Somebody told me of a lady, she went to a funeral like she would funeral today, and tomorrow she did not see the light of day, so to speak. Died. And she seemed healthy. So you ask God, you run and you take the vaccine to live. Because I did you don't want it. I did you know I did. That's the reason why you do it. You want to live as long as you can live. Talk truth. No human being no want die. They wish they could have live and live and live on. I have my 90-year-old neighbor, and you would think that, I love her, that she would make them happy that they're living this long. Nobody feels that they're not happy. Because my 90-year-old should go every minute, she go to the doctor for this and this check up and do blood test. And I say, wow, the care what age them reach, of a human being, and they want to live. And they want to live. But she lived with a purpose. She gave back. The two of them live side by side. One may be a year or two older than the other. Side by side. But they lived with a purpose. I remember the other one, Miss Sam, how she would take us out on outings as children and probably paid from our pocket. Whole heap of us in the community took us out, always give an encouraging word, always tell you to treat people good, even if the smelly man, no matter how they look, treat them good and don't worry about anything. She just put it before God. And Miss Sam eat all kind of food. By the way, let me tell you, my grandmother, Miss Sam, eat all. His other neighbor, she will eat. She doesn't eat. She's more of a vegetarian, vegan sort of lady. Might eat a little thing here and there, but you know, my grandmother and Miss Sam eat. They eat never mixed diet. I'm not saying that they eat mostly bad food, but I'm just letting you know it's a holistic approach. It's a holistic approach. You can't treat people bad and do all kind of evil and feel say you're eating right and going to live long or live a quality life. No sanky, no sing so. No. So if you want God to grant you longevity, it must be for a purpose, not for yourself alone or just for your child or your husband, for the wives that is, or the husbands for the wives. It must be for far greater things than that. Jesus came and showed that example of giving and living for others as well. And it's not devoid of taking care of yourself. It's not devoid of self-love. No, nobody's saying that. You must live a merry life. Read Proverbs. You must live a merry life. I believe in that. I believe in living I want to live a good life. People want to live in a Norbrook. I want to drive I love the home of them. I love, I love colors. I want a pink one. I want a pink Lamborghini. I want a mansion with a pool inside and outside. I want to live big life. Yes, me and somebody too. Yeah, before me leave the earth, I want to live all of them big life there. What? So what? So me lost wait, so wait. So because I'm a Christian, I have to live good. You know what I mean? So I must, but I don't want it to stop there. I want to see how best I can help somebody if you have a nice house like that with a nice car. Have monies in their investments and bank accounts. I want to carry food to give people. I want to do this. Yeah. And so it's not just for me. I want to try and see how, when God, and I use the word, when God blesses me with that financial wealth, I want to help others too. Yeah, man. I spread his name and tell people that no matter the challenges, God is great. He's good. He's awesome. He's amazing. And he's the best being ever. When everybody else fails you, and they will, it doesn't matter who, he will never fail you. May feel that way, but he never fails. So my dear people, if you want to live long, you have to live with a purpose. God can't just grant you something like that without it being purposeful. It has to be purposeful. You're not gonna just there exist. So what's your point? What would be the point of having you? No disrespect, don't take it the wrong way. But really, what would be the point of having you if you now help other people too, besides yourself? Or spread the name of God. Spread the name of Jesus. Think on these things. Have a good one.